This is a public service announcement for all you listener folk out there.
Me?
To be fair, I didn't know you were here. I was just talking to the listeners.
See, I know I've just been sat here listening all week, really, since the last episode.
You're not due on for another 2 or 3 minutes, so if you want to carry on going about your business, get back to your knitting or whatever you were doing over there.
Continue
while
listening.
I carry on with a public service announcement.
Yeah, go for it.
So this is a public service announcement. I understand the pain you listener folk feel every week when you download your podcast and see that it's only an hour long. It's real. It's the sort of pain that really gets you in the gut. Do you feel it this is you again now.
Me?
Not listening. Yeah, okay. You again now. Do you feel the pain that it's only an hour long every week?
I don't know what to do for the rest of the week, other than we do Mature Gamer for a bit, but other than that, I just sit here listening.
Yeah. Well, I don't have a solution for the whole of the rest of the week. I do have a solution for that 20-minute come-down period after you finish listening to a new episode of Weird from the Internet. Because what you can do is, by heading over to weirdfromtheinternet.com/pledge, you can sling a few quid our way on Patreon, and you can then download an extra 20 minutes of the show. It's called More from the Internet, where we just carry on talking for another 20 minutes about what we've just been talking about. So it just fills that void at the end of the show every week, so you don't get that empty longing feeling where you wish we were back.
What if somebody wanted something else in return for their hard cash? Would we take requests to an extent?
I imagine we probably would. I can't remember what they are, but if they head over to that URL I spoke of before, weirdfromtheinternet.com/pledge, they can read all about them on there, and there's all sorts of good stuff. But the important thing is an extra 20 minutes of me and him every week.
Yeah, that sounds good. It keeps me busy for an extra 20 minutes.
Try not to be too enthusiastic about it.
Well, I don't know.
weirdfromtheinternet.com/pledge, and I promise you'll be more excited about it than he is. Hello, I'm Kev.
And I'm Steve.
And we're from the Internet. You seem more excited now we've got into the show. You're not an advertising man, are you? That's always been your problem.
We don't plan it in advance. That's the problem.
We don't plan the rest of the show in advance, apart from the extensive script that gets handed to us.
No, but I can riff for an hour straight.
Apart from when you're trying to line our pockets with gold.
No, when I just want to say something really poignant that makes Mr. or Mrs. Listener think, yeah, I'm going to take a dip into More from the Internet. It's worth it. No, I just can't.
So while you're thinking about something poignant that'll get him to do that, the best you can come up with is, it's all right.
Well,
do it or not do it, I care not.
Because I want to say something that pierces through them like a knife through butter. And when it's not
in
there,
the absence of that, you could say anything at all.
Well, in the absence of that, I'm indifferent. That's how I roll. It's either perfection or nothing.
You must have a lot of nothing going on in your life.
Hell of a lot of nothing. But when it's right, it goes a hell of a lot right.
I don't know, that's a real sentence that humans use.
It was nothing.
Let's see. I feel like if we were the kind of podcast that had special effects and like sound beds and stuff on, at this point I'd play a funeral dirge because we need to announce the sad death of our mixer.
Yeah, the sound quality is probably a bit different this week.
The mixer that we've had for 6 years died through no fault of anyone's.
It didn't really die, did it? You just plugged the power lead into
through
the
no
USB
fault
port.
of anyone's.
It's not even really a fault. They're next to each other, kind of.
So you're taking full responsibility for it?
No, I'm just saying these things happen, and, I tried to fix it with a fork, and it didn't work.
Yeah. You perhaps could have tried with some tools rather than a fork.
Didn't know you had any. I asked for a pair of tweezers.
That's not a tool, is it? It's a woman's beauty device.
It would have been the perfect tool for the job, though.
I could have given you some tiny pliers. I've got them. For when I make my jewellery.
I asked you for a screwdriver to open it up, and you gave me one that was too small.
You didn't say, that one's no good, can I have a different one? I've got a big box full of screwdrivers over there.
I did say this one's too small.
Yeah, you didn't ask for another one.
Wow.
I thought you were just making an observation.
Tried to use the end of the fork then, and then just gave up.
That would have been too big, surely.
We had another mixer just sat on standby.
Yeah, but as anyone who listened to Mature Gamer podcast last week will say, that other mixer was a pile of turd and didn't work properly.
Was the sound quality bad last week?
Yeah, it wasn't really fixable, apparently. He says, producer extraordinaire Stuart said he did his best, but it just sounded like a bunch of idiots in a van. A moving van with no microphones and someone banging on the side of the van.
That's fair enough.
And they weren't saying much.
Listened to the Complete Guide to Everything earlier, and they're so quiet. I couldn't hear a word they were saying.
Did you try turning the volume up?
Yeah, I had it on Max.
See, I think this is a problem with your phone, because I listen to that every week. Not that I want to promote other shows, they're not paying us, we're not going to mention them again. Are they paying us? No?
They're not paying you.
Okay. Well, you can mention them, I won't say the name, but I listen to them every week with no problem at all.
Yeah, it's on my phone.
All your ears, all that heavy rock music that you listen to.
Well, the heavy rock music I listen to is nice and loud and ear-piercingly beautiful.
That's the problem you've got there. You have that so loud that you can't then appreciate the softer talk of a podcast.
I was so tired earlier. I couldn't handle listening to pop music, so rock music and that sort of thing. It was too complicated for my brain, so I started listening to dance music from listening to dance music from the late 90s, early 2000s era, because the lyrics were so basic and the music was so basic and repetitive that my brain could handle it.
You probably had the option to not listen to any music at all.
I didn't really. I fell asleep. I only woke up in where we live, our hometown.
We don't live together.
I only woke up in this village because I got a text just as I was crossing the border, and it woke me up.
Was it a text reminding you where you were? Have you got some kind of GPS, get off the bus?
That would have been pretty cool, actually.
You could probably set that up on that If app, whatever it's called. If, I think it's called.
Yep.
That when you cross the border into Lincolnshire, wake up now, sheepdog. Get it to start playing your loud rock music at that point.
That'd make me jump. It always makes me jump.
That'd be fantastic. And especially if you crossed the border when you didn't have your earphones plugged in and you were just out for a walk into Cambridgeshire, and you swanned back across the river, and then suddenly it started blasting out your pocket. Or if you posted your phone to someone. No, if you took your phone somewhere, posted it back to yourself, then when the postman drives over the bridge, suddenly there's rock music. That's a prank I want to get involved in. I might buy an old phone.
You just made me think how risky that whole app is, because you could just make an if statement that blows up the phone, surely? With a bit of know-how.
Not.
Yeah, you can make it overheat and explode.
How?
There's bound to be ways.
I don't know that there's any software solution on the iPhone that will make it explode. You wouldn't be allowed them on planes if you could do that.
It'd have to be a hack.
If there was, you wouldn't be allowed to take it on an aeroplane.
But you're not supposed to take battery packs for a laptop on a plane, are you?
You can take the one that's in the laptop. You're just not allowed extra ones.
I'm not sure that you're even allowed the one in a laptop, are you?
Of course you are. How do you think people use their laptops on a plane?
Then you have to just plug it in.
Nonsense. How would you take a MacBook on a plane? You can't take the battery out.
Well, exactly. I don't know.
And everyone who flies on planes uses MacBooks because they're both signs of a well-to-do, richer person who can fly.
On a plane, you mean? Not just...
Well, I'm not saying anything one way or the other. I think, if you can afford to fly, you can afford a MacBook, and then you wouldn't soil your hands with a PC.
So, have you done anything this week?
Done lots of things this week.
Like what?
Been to work quite a lot.
How's that gone for you?
It's alright.
Did you find it hard getting up?
No, I'm getting quite good at getting up again. Well, I do tend to go to bed earlier. In fact, I've started using my Fitbit again. And I saved a screenshot this morning just to taunt you with. Because we've mentioned on the show how your Fitbit shows that you don't sleep because you're not human, haven't we? I'm sure we have. I saved a screenshot that was... It was a particularly pleasant one that I wanted to show you. There you go, that's my sleep from last night. Look at those solid blocks of sleep.
Yeah, it's pretty mad.
That's 7 solid hours. I did stir for a few minutes. Well, it was 1 minute, I think. I had 1 minute of stirring at about 3 a.m.
That's insane.
But the rest of the time, I'm just
so calm
motionless.
and relaxed.
Yeah, that's how I roll.
Have you got it on sensitive, or...?
Yeah, I'm at peace with the world. It's like that every night. If I go into my... you need to chill the heck out. I think that's the problem. Here we go. If we go into my my sleep tracker, the other thing with my sleep tracker, which I find quite interesting, is that I've been falling asleep at pretty much the same time every night as well. Not consciously. I don't have a bedtime. No one's telling me to go to bed at 11:15 at night. They're not the rules. In fact, what I've been doing is getting into the bed at about 10:15, sticking the wrestling on my iPad, watching a bit of the old wrestling, and then when I start to get drowsy, I turn it off and go to sleep, which seems to be at 11:15 every night. I am a little bit concerned that used to be my reading time, and I wonder there needs to be some kind of scientific study about what I'm doing to my IQ, because for about 3 weeks now, the time I used to spend reading, which often was self-improvement books and stuff like that time I used to spend reading every night is now being spent watching wrestling off of the 80s. So
Do you have lots of dreams about fighting people?
I had a dream that had Hulk Hogan in the other day. Which is weird because I never used to dream. But now I am dreaming, but it's about wrestling. So I don't know if that's good or bad. But if I'd have known my WWE Network free month expires soon, so unless I sign up again under a false email address, I'll never be able to track it. But what I feel that I should do is when that expires, start reading every night again for 2 years to get my IQ back up to where it was previously, and then take out a new trial, do an IQ test on the first day of the trial, stop reading again for another month and only watch wrestling when I used to read, and then do an IQ test every week and see what happens to me. Do you think it would have an impact?
Only if you start thinking it's real.
I don't know. Is that all it takes?
Was it ever real?
No, of course it wasn't real.
The first lot?
What do you mean the first lot?
Oh, WrestleMania 1.
No.
No, I mean, everyone thought it was, though, didn't they?
They tried to put that illusion out there. It was like the mid-90s when they just put their hands up and said, yeah, you know what, we know it's fake, but who cares? That's when they stopped calling it wrestling and started calling it sports entertainment. Because then they just said, yeah, it is entertainment. What of it? Let's embrace the entertainment element and start having a clown wrestle.
When are you going to do that with football?
Well, that is real, you see. That's a mistake you've made there. I think you can still gamble on wrestling, though, in Vegas. And that I really don't understand. Because if you can gamble on who's going to win a wrestling match, what's to stop Hulk Hogan when he's fighting Ric Flair, which I assume is what still happens now. I haven't watched any recent wrestling, apart from the Green Arrow the other week, so I assume it's still fellas like that who are getting involved. When they wrestle, what's to stop Mrs. Hogan just putting 15 quid on him winning?
Well, I'm sure she can't because she's family, but there's nothing to stop Hulk Hogan ringing you in advance and letting you know that
he hasn't got my phone number. That'd stop him.
He'd find it on the internet.
Tweet at me, Hulk, and let me know. I assume he's still wrestling. He didn't look in the best shape when he was on the Alan Titchmarsh show a few years ago, but other than that, and the fact he's apparently a massive racist these days.
Yeah.
But I assume he still wrestles. But I'm up to...
Wrestles with his demons.
Yeah, I'm up to 1980. I'm just finishing 1988 now. So I've done WrestleMania 4. I'm not just watching the WrestleManias, though. They started doing these other things. So I've watched the first Royal Rumble, the first Survivor Series, the first SummerSlam.
I guess you don't know who wins, do you? So it's all... Yeah.
So it's all new. And I'm cutting the wheat off the top of the chaff. I'm not watching any of that trash they put on the telly every week. I'm just watching the big shows each year. So I've just seen that spoilers from 1988 wrestling for anyone who is planning on doing the same thing. I watched Macho Man Randy Savage win the belt. That was quite entertaining. Him and Hulk Hogan are a tag team now. Which to me just seems a way to let Hulk Hogan keep winning but not have him have the belt. That seems to be the logic there.
That's really bizarre. A part of me thinks, well, it's free, I could watch this, but I don't think I want to.
You could, but you could do the experiment. You read most days at the moment, don't you?
No, I've not read in a while.
Right, start reading for a month, read every day for a month, then do an IQ test. Then watch a month of wrestling and do another IQ test.
I need to get my sleep up above 4 hours.
Well, wrestling's the key to it. I wasn't tracking my sleep until I was watching the wrestling, and you've seen what half an hour of wrestling does before bed. Give it a year, and the NHS will be recommending half an hour of 80s wrestling before you go to bed every night for a good night's sleep.
I've been watching Orphan Black before bed, so that's me. But then, it's weird. I was saying to you about dreams and that, dreams and wrestling, but mine always seemed to be some massive dilemma. Like, I was dreaming that there were these tiny little grizzly bears. There was a box of them, and then they kept growing massive and devouring people, and they were all on the loose, and I was running around after them, and that kept me restless. I think that was all last night or the night before, whichever one it was. When I looked the next day, it was like... Yeah, I had about 2 hours sleep because of the damn bears. You've got
to stop drinking. I think that's your problem. Going to bed hammered every night, making you dream about bears.
I don't drink.
Do you drink in your sleep? Do you wake up and just top up the alcohol levels just to, these dreams are getting too normal now, I need another drink.
My wife
Let the bears come back.
My wife was like, I was awake at about 4:30, and I look, and either side of that I was awake. And then I went to sleep and she woke up. I just thought, I reckon I'm keeping her awake through the night now. It's ridiculous.
Perhaps you should start sleeping in the garden.
Tomorrow night I think I'm going to stay up until 4 and then try and sleep through till 10.
That was my suggestion last week. Isn't you telling me you've gone a whole week and not done it?
You haven't had time.
What do you mean you've not had time? All you had to do was stay up late one night.
Yeah, because I need to get up at 6, so I kind of thought if I could stay up till
the
2,
plan
I'm going to
was
get 4 hours sleep. I'm getting 4 hours sleep anyway.
Exactly. That was the logic behind the plan. Stay up till 2, then go to bed. Even if that's giving you the 4 hours you normally have, but you get all that extra time to gad about watching wrestling or whatever you want to do with your free time.
Yeah, but I was falling asleep in front of the telly yesterday and still only had 3 hours. It was ridiculous. When did we record? Was it Friday last week or Thursday?
Yeah, it was.
One of them. When I left, I didn't know, but the next day, I went and bought a house, and it's really random. I just didn't.
Were you planning on it?
No.
Or did someone put the hard sell on you?
Well, we went to my mother-in-law's, and I can't even remember why we were there. And my father-in-law just said, "Oh, that place down the road there are doing a special offer on houses."
The place down the road is Tesco.
Next to Tesco's.
Right, okay, so Tesco is they've got a buy one get one free on houses.
Yeah, so he was just like telling me about it, and then he said, just nip in there and ask him how it all works. So we went along, and we got there and realised they opened at 11, and it was like 11:15. So we just sat in the car for 15 minutes, go, it's a nice enough area. And then we went in, he was like, I thought you were sitting in your car waiting to come in. You could have just came in.
He could have come out and told you could.
He's like, I always get here early. So anyway, he showed us around this show. Well, no, he let
I think
us.
they call them houses.
He let us go in this show house, and then he was talking to us about it all. And then he handed me a phone and was like, "There's a guy on the other end who sells mortgages. Just have a chat with him."
You got a free phone out of all this. I'm going to go and pretend to buy a house. Was it an iPhone?
It was a landline phone. He gave me the receipt.
They're like 30 quid. That's not much of a sweetener.
No,
that convinced you to buy a house.
No, as in the guy on the other end, I was just putting him to the test, really. Just saying to him, well, this is what we earn. This is a bit about me. What's the deal? What's the hippie hat? What's the scope? What can I have? What can I get away with? What should I pay a month?
Don't ever ask a mortgage advisor, what can I get away with?
And, he just come back with some suggestions.
Was his suggestion, you can have a mortgage and buy a house?
Pretty much. So
I wonder what led him to that conclusion. The salesman you spoke to.
Yeah, but I don't care. Like, the point I was making is like, oh, it works like that, does it? So I can pay that much a month, and it's like less than I pay for rent. And
if only you knew a trained mortgage advisor who could have told you the same thing and told you that years ago.
The only moron I know who does mortgage advice told me it would cost me over £1,000 a month to pay a mortgage.
That's because I was trying to convince you to buy critical illness insurance and payment protection and all that stuff.
Dickhead. Because this one's like, well, it's
what happens if you lose your job? You need your payment protection.
It's about the same as my rent now, because we tweaked it a little bit and stuff like that. But yeah, we just said we went back on a Monday, went, all right, I'll have it. Here's all the details. Bish, bash, bosh. Moving in Feb.
Moving where?
The house. It's only 3 bricks high off the ground. Well, it's probably a bit more now in a week.
They're going to add some more bricks before you buy it.
He was telling us...
Did you check the small print? They are going to finish building it.
Yeah, they're going to finish. They're finishing in Feb. He was telling me that if the weather stays nice, they'll have the roof on it within the next month and a half, and then...
they're going to put some more bricks on before that, aren't they? It's not going to be an underground house.
That'd be quite cool if it was. And then he said, yeah, once it's built, they can just finish it up and job done. So, but that was meant to be all April that it finished, but it's going to be done by Feb. So I was just like, I left Monday night, I was just sat there thinking, I don't know what's happened here. Like, I went into work and was like, the last time I left, I didn't have any plans to, I don't know, it's one of those things where I just assumed I wouldn't get one for at least another 2-3 years, and it's all happened so quick.
Well, didn't we do your plan for 2015-16? Like 2 weeks ago, and you said, yeah, at some point in the next 3 years I'd like to buy a house. Does this mean I have to have a best-selling novel this week now?
I forgot we talked about it in the episode. That's really funny, because I had nothing in my head to say, oh yeah, I'm going to go do that Saturday. That's insane. I completely forgot. So yeah, we did talk about...
What were my plans? I need to go and make them happen. Mine was probably something stupid, like...
See, I'm trying to think
not
now.
have a knee that hurts anymore.
What else did I say? Because...
You said you were going to grow some hair.
Yeah, I've got too much. I need a haircut.
You might have too much, but it's in the wrong arrangement for a normal human. Although you did get a pack of business cards earlier that said you had nice hair.
Yeah, I did.
Which is, I imagine that's the grown-up equivalent of a fortune cookie. You had 2 packs of business cards. One said nice hair, one said nice shoes or something, didn't it? No, mine said nice shoes.
Mine said nice shoes, and I'm delightful or something like that.
Yeah. Stupid business cards.
But yeah, no, it's been a really bizarre week. And the rest of the week, I mean, I got home on Tuesday and went to put the telly on, and then my wife asked me a question, so I turned the telly off, and we sat there for 4 hours talking about the house and stuff. And I was just like, okay.
What kind of question was that?
I can't remember what she asked me, but I know it ended up with us getting a tape measure out and measuring the living room that we've currently got to figure out.
You can't take that with you, don't you?
No,
you're going to get a new one of them.
We were just kind of thinking, hang on a minute, that sounds bigger than what we've got, and it was. The house we're getting is much bigger than the one we've got
Splendid.
now.
Has she put plans in place to move the PC upstairs yet?
Do you know, she is. We were looking at it, the layout of the room, and I said, well, the sofa there, the TV there, the PC there, and the actual lot there, and she was like, the PC's not going in there. And I said, fine, you'll never see me again then. I'll just be upstairs all the time.
And she said, that's fine, I've got what I wanted. I've been in, I've been in this for the long haul. I'm getting my house. You only have to stick around for 2 years after that, and you're out on your ear. It's every woman's plan. Women are evil.
I do keep thinking, like, now it's all sorted, I need to get through this operation, otherwise it's all going to fall apart. I keep meaning to say to her, I know what she's like. She won't bother pursuing the whole arrangement and getting the house and living her life. She'll drop all the plans because she'll be grieving over it.
Well, she won't be able to get the mortgage without your income, you moron.
She doesn't have to tell them, does she? It's all signed and sorted now.
Oh, no, you've got to sign the contract yet.
Well, that'll be done before the operation.
That's not how it works.
Really?
Well, I suppose on a new build, do you want a 28-day turnaround? Have you got to exchange contracts pronto?
Kind of. They've said 28 days, but I said I won't have the money by then, and they've said, okay.
There you go.
So, yeah, I mean, I can always get
So you're going to sign the contract, then go and die, and leave your poor wife saddled with all that debt. I hope you've got some life insurance before your operation.
It's too late for that. I looked into it.
What do you mean it's too late for that?
60 days.
What's 60 days?
In advance.
Oh, really?
No, 6 months, or you got to have it before you can actually get a payout on it.
Nonsense.
Yeah, something like that.
That's changed since my day. Go and get one of those old people policies that they advertise on the telly. If nothing else, you'll get a free Parker pen. And I know you've often longed for a Parker pen.
Yeah, I used to have one years ago. It's very good.
Well, just that life insurance will cover you then. It's fine.
But yeah, I kind of just figure if I can get an actor to pretend to be me until it's all done, they can just, you know.
But then she'll still have to pay the bills every month.
Yeah, but the rent she'd have to pay either way, and this is less than the rent, so she'll just get on with it.
I assume she'll get a lodger.
Probably, because she'll have. It's a 4-bed, so she'll have a spare room.
Are you going to take a lodger?
No,
you should take a lodger.
We should, shouldn't we?
Get a nice.
I imagine.
Nice man to come in and be the lodger.
You'll end up living there, and Anna kicks you out.
I don't really want to live with you. I don't want to live over there. You've basically moved in. You're moving in next door to my ex-wife, which suggests all these years there has been something going on with old Sheepdog. There's been all these rumours have been flying around the internet for years about why I got divorced. Now it's all coming out. You've bought the house behind hers so you can build a little love bridge between the two bedrooms.
Not near us, surely. That'd be so irritating if she's like.
It's a new build estate next to Tesco. There's only so many places she can be. She can throw a cricket ball from the top of her house and land it anywhere on that estate.
I don't think she could. She's like phase 1 or 2 and I'm in phase 3. The end of phase 3 as well. I'll be facing the build of phase 4 for the next 2 years.
I don't understand.
There's 4 phases. They're going to build the next one opposite my house.
Yeah.
But in a kind of way that there's this massive field and then the next phase, which is quite splendid for me. I didn't realise there was a field there. I was building it assuming I'd be facing houses in a year, but no, there's a big field opposite that I'll never go in.
I can park my caravan on there then. That can be where I live.
Yeah, I never really thought about that.
Me and my people can bring our caravans and come and live on the fancy new estate next to Tesco. Join the Cool Kids Club. Can't have a gun. You're in England. We're not allowed guns
Get
here.
an alarm system then.
What's that going to do? I'm not going to steal from you. I'm just going to have a caravan across the road.
I had to negotiate what free stuff I get with a house. That was interesting because.
Well, you already got the phone, so that's sorted. What else did you get? Did you get a microwave?
We're currently giving away some white goods and flooring, and I was
so
like,
you did get a microwave?
I was like, what? So the house doesn't come with any floors? I was going to crack the old watch. I was just going to fall through the bottom of it every time I step in, but I didn't. So yeah, got them, and then I got a fridge and a freezer and a dishwasher. I was like, doing any washing up? Mm-hmm. Damn you. And then I thought, what else can I screw out of him?
Microwave and a phone.
I've got a microwave and a phone.
He could have given. Well, yeah, he gave you a phone. We've already been through that.
But then it turned out the garden was just going to be a mud pit unless I basically went, what? No, you're going to put turf in there. And he was like, we don't normally. And I was like, well, I don't want a house with an empty garden. And then I was like, and I presume there's a tap in this garden. And he was like, no, again, what's the point of us fitting it? It'll cost you like 50 quid. And I was like, yeah, but if it doesn't get put in now, I'll never put it in. And if I try and get someone else to put it in. They'll only.
This must have been like trying to sell a house to Homer Simpson. He has you have no idea how the negotiations are working, but somehow you're winning them.
And it was just like,
how desperately do these people want to sell these houses?
I don't know, but then I kept going through the book and I was like, I'd like that shower, and he was like, he already said no to the garden stuff, and I was like, I'd like that shower then. And he was like, look, I'm already giving you the garden stuff, the tap, this, that and the other. And I was just like, okay. And then while he was talking, I was flicking through going, well, could we have that? And he was like, I thought we'd moved on from this. But eventually, he did say normally people only get 2 things, and I'd ended up with 4 sections made up with several different things. And I just thought splendid. And he upgraded the type of floor. And I'm sat there thinking, this is pretty fun. So we're going there again in 2 weeks to talk about finishing touches, and I'm thinking, I wonder how further I can push.
So this time next year, you're going to be a property investor because you found the whole process so much fun. You're going to go and buy a block of flats.
Depends how simple it ends up being.
Well, it's very simple. Once you've got that first rung on the ladder, expanding the portfolio is easy peasy.
Interesting. There we go then.
You'll be like Robbie Fowler in no time.
What, sniffing the lines of football pitches?
He owns half of Liverpool, doesn't he?
He's snorted half of Liverpool.
No, he used to just, every time he got his wages, he'd go and buy a house with it. He's famous
clever.
for it. He's
He's
filthy rich.
Lampard does that, and he owns loads of housing estates in London.
Mm-hmm. I'm not really up on my current football.
Harry Redknapp, he always used to buy
I know all about football from the 90s. I know 80s wrestling and 90s football. Don't talk to me about modern football.
Noughties music as well, isn't it, for you?
Yeah.
But Harry Redknapp, he used to buy all the houses around any club he worked for, and then every time they signed a player, he'd move him into one of his flats and charge him rent.
Barry Fry does that. He owns most of Sugar Way in Peterborough, and it's just full of footballers.
Sugar Way is rough.
Yeah, it's because it's all the footballers live there. Because Barry Fry owns most of it. It's just the posh youth team live there. Because everyone...
Why are they all getting on my bloody bus every morning? They're so irritating.
Oh, because they get on the bus and they go to training.
The amount of times I've almost stood up and said, here, lads, cut it out. But I've not had the balls to, because there's like 9 of them and only one of me.
Yeah, just take them on.
It's like me and them are the only blokes on the bus, and all the women sit there uncomfortable.
They're all there in their posh kits.
Pretty much. And they all sit there watching porn or whatever random thing going on.
Footballers are so classy.
And all the women are just sat there like, ugh.
Take them to one side and say, look, lads, you want to be like Robbie Fowler, don't you? Well, I'm something of a property buying expert now. let me talk you through how this works. And pretty soon they'll be living next door to you in your new house. What more could you want?
Surprisingly, they're either really skinny and, weak.
These footballers are thin. How unusual.
Or they're overweight. It's really confusing.
You understand Posher in League One. Yeah. The footballers who are a normal amount of fitness play for the Premier League youth teams. Where you get the riff-raff and cast-offs who got chucked out
surely
of Chelsea for being too fat.
Thing. You just run about a bit.
Generally, the posh youth team is all the footballers who were too little to play anywhere else. Jermaine Anderson, who's just played for England under-20s, the only reason he's at Posh is because Arsenal didn't want him because he was too small. So they said, nah, too short, off you go. So we signed him. Now he's playing for England, damn it.
Should have eaten the vegetables when they were growing up.
Yeah, he also grew about 2 feet and put on 6 stone since he signed for us as well. Late bloomer. That bit Wenger in the backside, didn't it? It doesn't matter what happened. He's about 6'4" now.
Brilliant. It's just they're so irritating. Get them up. Surely the club should make him get a separate bus away from me.
Well, you'd think if they're buying them all these houses to live in, they could just put on a minibus or something. Sugarway's not that far from the training ground.
Well, they're not getting on there. They're getting on.
They could just cycle from there.
What was I going to say? I've forgotten. Oh, I got my driving test in a week.
Yeah.
20 seconds.
What's the point of that when you're going to die a few days later? You just want on your gravestone, sheepdog, driver.
Driver, property owner.
Yeah, driver, property investor, bit like Robbie Fowler.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah. You're going to get yourself an old Liverpool shirt and some of those, some of those plasters that you put on your nose so you can breathe better. They'll probably help you sleep.
That'd be good. The sad thing is, if I do pass, then I have to drive myself to the hospital because my wife can't take me. I don't want to.
How are you going to get there otherwise then?
I don't know. She can pick me up.
So you're only having the operation if you pass your driving test?
Oh no, I'll get a taxi or something.
That's putting quite a lot of pressure on your driving test there.
Nah, I'm not really fast.
Why don't you just get the bus with those footballers?
Well, yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine. I'll get there somehow.
Look, I don't want to risk you not dying on the operating table. I'll take you if it comes to it. I'll get you a taxi. I'll put you on a train. It'll be fine.
Did I tell you the phrase the doctor used to me when he said, basically...
What's the phrase, morbidly obese?
No, he said it would take 3 weeks to heal, but it'll only be like 5 small incisions. And then he was chatting away, and I was thinking, well, this sounds alright. 5 little holes, prod stuff through, cut it all up, take it out. And then he said, but there's always a chance that we won't be able to get at it. And if that happens, then we'll just have to slash your side open from top to bottom. Reach in.
It is your gallbladder.
Yeah, well, I was just like, hang on, what? Because it's tiny. It's like less than that. You know, I'm making a very small, probably an inch or so.
It's basically, I won't do that gag because it's a family show.
But it's just a small, and he was just like, yeah, we'll just basically cut you open all down your side. You'll have a bigger scar.
I suppose it's because he needs to get his arm up under your ribs.
But I was just like, so there's a small, something I'm going to go under, thinking, hopefully it'll just be 4 tiny or 5 tiny little holes. Job done. And he's warned me now, that I could wake up with my side open. And
Tell him to put a zip in.
Not going to heal in 3 weeks. That's going to take ages to heal if that happens.
Tell him to put in a zip for the next time, for when you have your heart bypass.
We can keep cracking the old, my sides are split in joke whenever you make me laugh.
Don't leak pus over my recording studio or any...
Actually, it might be well and truly bandaged up.
If you come in here leaking pus, I'm going to turn you away. I don't want you coming in here smelling of old bandages and
I've never really thought about this.
Crusted on blood and pus and...
I'll have a good costume for Halloween.
Cavities invested.
Invested?
Yeah. What's the word? Infected. There we go. I'm thinking about Robbie Fowler
for Halloween, couldn't I?
What, you're going to take your shirt off? What, you're a never nude? How are they going to do the surgery if you don't take off your shirt?
Well, they'll lift up my t-shirt slightly.
You're going to cover the rest of yourself in plasters.
I'm just
plaster over your nipples,
just going to hold my side up. Well, you can't see, but I'm going to hold my side up like that.
No human's ever seen your nipple.
No, exactly. They're not going to see it now. I'm going to hold my side up like that.
Yeah, if they're unzipping you all the way up to your armpit...
Oh, I can lift it higher.
I don't think you understand where your nipple is.
No, but I'll just do that.
You're going to be unconscious, probably.
Yeah, but I'll get them to... My wife can arrange my hands if she turns up.
Why would she be there? You've just said you've got... So you're going to drive yourself there. She's going to meet you there just to make sure your hand is covering your nipples while you're unconscious.
I'll get them to film it, and if I see any nipple, I'll sue them.
Oh, you don't want them to film it when I had my colonic irrigation.
I'd love it if they filmed it. I'd love to watch them go, oh, God, hole 3's not big enough. We're going to have to just rip his side open. And
don't you think that would induce a slight bump in your heart rate that might cause problems while they're doing surgery on you?
I'm not going to watch it live.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to be asleep live.
Well, I assume you meant you just wanted an injection, numb the area, then cut you open and have a poke around.
Is it really bad that I'm really excited that they're going to knock me out for about 5 hours, so I'm going to get some sleep?
Looking at your graph, you'll probably start wriggling halfway through and they'll cut out one of your lungs or something.
Well, that's another thing he warned me about. They might accidentally cut my bowel open or my liver.
Oh, if he cuts your bowel open, we're not recording that week. I'm not having you come in here with a leaking bowel.
No, they'll sew it back up. They're not just going to leave it rolling.
Yeah, but then the poo's going to start leaking out onto your bandages.
I'm convinced they're going to slash my spine somehow, even though they're really far apart, and I'll end up in a wheelchair.
Well, your spine's probably an unusual arrangement, so it's probably over there.
It's S-shaped, yeah. Yeah,
does the S go over that side? Is your spine wrapped around your gallbladder? Is that the problem?
Probably. I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, next time you see the surgeon, which I assume is on the day.
Yep.
If I do give you a lift, can you just say to him when he's injecting you, just while you're in there, can you sort his knee out?
Injecting me?
Oh, well.
I thought it'd be gas.
Well, you'll get an injection. You'll have one of those things put in your hand first, I imagine.
Don't like the sound of that.
All right. You must have had one of them before. You're an adult.
I woke up with one of them on me when I went to hospital for a drink once.
Nice. What you don't want, here you go. This is to really get you in the mood for it. When I was, one of the times when I was in hospital a few years ago, they usually put it in the back of your hand, but I'd been in so often that I just looked like a pincushion on the back of both hands, so they couldn't get it in on any of those. So they said, there is one other place, the elbows as well, and after they've done all that, there is another place we can put it. It will hurt a bit, but it's the only place we can get it in. If they try and put it in the side of your wrist, just there, just say no.
It's one of those blue things, actually. I rolled over as a kid with one of them in my hand. And
if they try and put it in there...
broke it, and it split.
Just say no, you'll keep the gallbladder, thank you, because they hurt.
I'm very tempted to keep it now, to be fair, because it hasn't really been hurting. It throbs now and again, but it doesn't
Just
hurt.
stop eating cakes. Isn't it just fatty food that makes gallbladders hurt?
No, apparently not.
What makes them hurt then?
Baldness? No, I don't know.
Perhaps that could have been something you found out rather than just having it cut out.
Well, he said there's no way of stopping it. If it happens, it happens. It's just there.
Isn't there? Can't you, like, swallow a pill that makes it shrivel up and die? I bet there is. But you can take some bladder poison. Go on the internet, search for bladder poison. You'll be fine.
Oh, I really don't want to have the op. I really don't. But everyone says, "Oh, you'll be fine." And
I'm not saying that.
No, I know.
I'm fear mongering. That's how I roll. I'm giving you perspective. I'm presenting the other side of the argument. Everyone else you know is trying to put your mind at ease. I'm trying to enjoy myself. And the look on your face tells me I'm doing a damn fine job. By the way, we have a topic for this week's show.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just making you feel uncomfortable. You've gone a bit pale. He looks like he's going to vomit.
I don't feel very good, but go on.
Remember, side of the hand.
That's not what's bothering me.
There.
I'm more just thinking I could have a massive hole in my side.
Yeah, but that'd be funny. You wouldn't need to wear pockets on your trousers. You could just put your wallet in there. Ask them to put your Fitbit in there so you don't need to wear it around your wrist anymore.
I'll be alright. I'll just be fragile for a little bit, won't I?
Yeah. Do you want to go and play rugby? Rugby? Does this rule you out of the Rugby World Cup?
I don't watch rugby.
I thought you were playing.
Oh, well, yeah, but that's supposed to be quiet for now. That was a secret.
Well, it sounds like it's not going to happen. When I was putting money on wrestling earlier, I put some money on the rugby as well, but now I'm getting an insider tip. I don't know, but they had the stupid inflatable rugby balls in Tesco. I assume they're all inflatable, but these ones weren't inflated yet, and you can buy rugby shirts. But strangely, stuff like this has gone a bit weird. Yeah, a few years ago, when the Rugby World Cup was on, or the Football World Cup, or any big international sporting event, you'd go into a shop, and it'd all be England stuff that you could buy. Yeah?
Yeah. Has it got other nationalities now?
No, there's no nationalities at all. Now you can just buy a rugby shirt that it's like blue and it just says Rugby World Cup on it. But it's not for a specific nation. So you're not supporting England or anyone.
Weird.
You're just supporting the concept of an international sporting competition. That would be like you walking around with a T-shirt that just said the Olympics on the front. Or football.
They do sell them, but that's
Who
weird.
wears
No
them?
one wears football ones.
Yeah, I'm going to get a T-shirt that just says football. That was breaking news. A child is growing a moustache somewhere in the world.
That was really random. Oh my god, Andy's growing a moustache. She's like, alright Anna, thanks.
Well,
You heard it here first though, people of the internet.
now you can wear a T-shirt that just says moustache on it, and they'll be like the Rugby World Cup people. But can I this might be the latest line of We're from the Internet T-shirts. I might just do one for every sport. So it'll just be a yellow T-shirt that just says football on the front. I reckon they'd sell like hotcakes. In fact,
Just put hotcakes on it.
yeah, we're from the internet.com/rugby. Get your Rugby World Cup merchandise from us. It's just going to be a yellow T-shirt that says rugby on the front. And you too can support rugby, like the people who buy stuff from Tesco to jump on a bandwagon.
I went to a rugby match at the start of the year, and started because I didn't have a clue what was going on. I
Well,
started
they're
making up
selling
my own
rugby
charts.
T-shirts there.
I was singing stuff like "There's only one ball in rugby," and just
I bet they loved you.
oh rugby, whoa! And yeah, it went down well. Everyone around me joined in. I got the whole people around me singing these random
So
songs.
you started this trend. What you're saying? You went to a rugby match and just supported rugby, and now 6 months later, you can't buy an England shirt anymore. You can just buy rugby shirts.
We love you. That was, there was loads of songs like that, and it just went on and on and on. It was very good.
Well, I hope Tesco giving you a cut. This is how you're buying a house, isn't it?
Probably.
Now I understand what's going on.
I don't manage my finances, so that's why I tell
Sheepdog's
people.
getting his rugby money come through from the major supermarkets, and now he can buy himself a house. It's all coming together. Old Robbie Fowler of the rugby game. That's what they call you. Rugby's Robbie Fowler. That'll be on your rugby T-shirt that I make. Yours will be a blue one, and it'll just say Rugby's Robbie Fowler. Would you wear that to Eurogamer? Why? I'm going to buy you a T-shirt that just says Rugby's Robbie Fowler on it.
Just don't get it.
You don't need to get it, just wear it. I'm going to spend £4 on this T-shirt.
Sounds
What are you, quadruple XL?
something like that. But I won't be. Well, I suppose I won't have a deal by then.
What is the opera? Are they taking half of your stomach away as well? Is that the unseen part of the thingy? That's it.
I'm hoping they'll just think, God, it's a bit fatty in here, isn't it? Let's just hoover a bit of that out, and I'll wake up a couple of stone later.
I don't think that's how it works. I've just realised how to stop the binging happening.
What, mute the laptop?
Yeah.
You plonker.
All this time. I wonder if that'll work. I wonder if I've muted our microphone.
Yeah, I was just wondering that.
No, look, we've still got wavy lines on the doodad.
Wavy.
So that means you shouldn't touch the screen. It makes it go blubbery.
What is this week's topic?
This week's topic is the iPad Pro, which I assume you pre-ordered.
Yeah, the ginormous one.
It's massive. It's bigger than this laptop.
Yeah, that was an interesting move.
So this is an 11-inch laptop. What is it, 13 inches, the iPad Pro? So I saw one graphic that said the new iPad Pro, width-wise, is the same as the height of a normal iPad. So it's like that. So it's like having, 2 or 3 normal iPad Airs stacked on top of each other?
That's mad.
It's too big, surely.
Yeah, it's quite funny because I always said that I thought the iPhones and iPads were getting too small, and then it's like they've started listening, and now I'm worried because, my opinion doesn't fit in with the rest of the world. They were making loads of money when they were doing the exact opposite to what I wanted, but now they're doing what I want, and I'm starting to think their stock prices will probably start plummeting.
I'm getting a bit, they did, didn't they? The initial reaction was, don't like this. But I'm getting a little bit excited that my dream device is getting closer to reality. It's not quite there yet this time around, but people laugh at me at work because I walk in with the MacBook under one arm, iPad under the other arm, and I just sit with them both there and my phone. And I just want one device that does all of that. So the iPad Pro isn't quite there. It's got the keyboard, but it's still just an iPad. I want a MacBook that you can just pull the screen off of and then use like an iPad. So when you detach the screen, it goes into iPad mode and functions exactly like an iPad. But when you plug it back into the keyboard, it becomes a MacBook again.
You know Microsoft made that?
Yeah, but it was crap and expensive, and it wasn't a Mac or an iPad. So it was nothing of what I wanted. It was a piece of Microsoft dirt with Windows on it. No one wants that, but we're getting closer, and I'll buy that.
Plus, you can buy keyboards for an iPad.
Yeah, but I don't want an iPad with a keyboard. I want a MacBook that can become an iPad if I take the screen off. I want the two devices to combine. People are moaning about how expensive the iPad Pro is, but my iPad was, 400 quid? The MacBook is 900 quid. So if there was...
Is it 600 then? 650?
It's $800, I think, so whatever that converts to.
That then.
But I'd pay 800 quid for one that combined the two, because I paid nearly double that for having them separate. So if they could just combine into one device that had the full functionality of both, that would be awesome. I don't know what people are moaning about.
People moan every time they do anything. This whole 3D touchscreen thing was confusing. It's like what you can tap harder. Yeah,
that's what's in the watch at the moment. So if you do a little tap, it does something different if you hold it down or do a firm tap. So the big way they showed it off, which was the crappiest way to show it off ever, was, if you just lightly touch on your emails when you're reading them, it will give you a preview of the email. But it's in the watch. There was no reason not to just stick it in the phones. I've got nothing against having 3D touch in there. That's fine. The new phone, I'm glad they haven't changed the way the phones look. I always used to be a jump in on the S part of the generation, and then it used to make me sad for a year when everyone had a newer looking phone than me.
That technology, I'm just sort of thinking, you've got my mind's wandering, thinking the 3D touch technology, that's going to teach a lot of men to make a lot of women happy.
What, because they're checking their emails?
Just being sensitive
about checking their emails. Yeah. They don't have to fully open emails anymore. It's going to ruin you with your red receipts. I'm never going to have to send you another red receipt ever because, no, just hover on that. No, it's from him. Don't need to read it.
Good point. I need to get your work email so I can start sending you adverts.
I'll let you figure it out for yourself. It's not that complicated. As with every business email address ever, it's my name at the place I work.
With a dot in the middle?
Probably. I don't know, you'll figure it out. Try every combination and see which one gets red receipt rejected from me. Because I assume you get that message as well.
No, you should just get red.
Yeah, I don't ever say I've read your emails. I refuse to give you the pleasure. Well, I always say no, so that proves that doesn't work. It's just a courtesy on there saying, do you want to send the red receipt? But we've already sent it. Do you want to send it? No, I don't. Oh, well, we sent it this time. We'll ask again next time. Don't worry about it. But yeah, I like the fact that the phones look the same for 2 years now, because it means with my 6 Plus that I've got, people with the 6S Plus, no one's going to know they've got the 6S Plus, apart from when you see them gently just trying to touch the screen, because I won't be able to do gentle touching. But my phone's going to look new and shiny for another year. That makes me happy. I assume you've already pre-ordered one of the new pink ones.
Mine's not due for a while. My wife's is though, so she'll have a new one at some point.
She's going to get a pink one?
Dunno.
She's going to get a full-size one like mine, or a tiny little child one?
I think she should get a full-size one.
Good battery life.
Yeah, they mentioned the battery was going to be good on it. How good's good, though?
Well, the battery on mine lasts 2 days.
Nice.
So, I don't know what I'm on now. 49%. So that was last charged. We're recording this on Friday. That was last... In fact, no, that probably was charged last night, but I won't charge it tonight now, because that will get me through to tomorrow night. So
I charge mine 3 times a day at the moment, really.
Well, there you go. You need to get
I use it a lot, though.
Proper phone. I use mine a lot. How dare you suggest I don't use any Apple device constantly throughout the day? I love them. They're a wonderful thing. What about the Apple Pencil? They invented the pencil this week. Have you seen the Apple Pencil? What it does, firstly, is set you back $100.
Let me guess, right? Let me say what I would like it to do and hope that that's what it does. Okay. I'd like to be able to write things by hand and have them on screen in font.
No, that's not what it does.
That's stupid then. What does it do?
Are you... now, I might be getting a bit technical for you here, so go with me.
Go on.
Have you ever heard of the stylus?
Mm-hmm.
You know how they work? Where you use them... You know, some people, when they're using a touchscreen device, use their finger, like a homeless gentleman.
Yeah.
You can get these little sticks. They used to be called styluses, but they don't exist anymore because the pencil exists now. New tech, the pencil. You can use that instead of your finger on the screen for only $100.
Does it do anything different, like shade if you're drawing and?
Well, apparently it needs charging, so it's not just an ordinary stylus.
Right.
So it's got some kind of thing in the end. So yeah, you've got the pressure sensing stuff built into the thing as well, so you can turn it on its side and...
So I can become an artist.
Yeah, apparently it's been designed so that you can put your hand flat on the iPad and just write properly. It knows that you because at the moment when you try and use a stylus with an iPad, it picks up the fact that your hand is on there as well, so you have to try and sort of write without touching the device.
They could have programmed that without using the pen though, couldn't they, really?
But then they couldn't have charged £100 for it. But yeah, they invented the pencil. Apparently only works with the iPad Pro at the moment. So once you've spent £900 on the iPad or $800, whatever it is, another $150 on your keyboard case, then another $100 on your pencil. We're getting over £1,000 now for something that's too big for anyone to use ever. Did you see the picture of old Anthony Popple holding it at the
possibly? At the I saw a picture of someone holding it.
It was basically a pic. You know how sometimes do you remember that? I can't remember the name of the show from the noughties with the man with the massive phone who played a Nokia theme tune and he'd just say hello.
Oh yeah.
It's a guy holding an iPhone version of that in front of him, and it looks like a gag, but no, it's actually matey boy at Apple holding the iPad Pro, and it basically the bottom of it he might sort of tucked it into the top of his belt. And then he's just peeking over the top of it. It's fantastic.
I could use this is what they had in Thunderbirds when they were all calling each other.
Were they? Were they not just giving them iPods and because they're little puppets?
No, but on the wall they had these iPad.
Well, we're not far away now from just having an iPad that's the size of a tabletop. In fact, if they don't, as part of iOS 10 when that comes out next year, if they don't have I'm patenting this now. Apple.
I'm sure they'd have got there first.
No, this is my idea. I want to be able, because in my house now, we have 5 iPads. We've all got an iPad.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be able to get a table like this one we're sitting at, put them all on it, and they know they're linked together, and you'd be able to have a massive display across all the iPads together.
That must be doable already.
I want it to. It's not, and I just invented it. And I want that because you know how when we were at uni we'd play Scrabble because we were nerds, so we'd have the Scrabble board on the iPad, then we'd all have our trays on the phones. But if we stick 4 iPad Airs together to make roughly the size of a Monopoly board, you could put the Monopoly board on it and use your phones as the cards and whatnot, and you'd use the pencil in some wavy arrangement to roll the dice. For just a couple of grand, you could simulate a game of Monopoly full size.
You'd save yourself buying it.
Yeah, you wouldn't need to waste money on board games anymore because it'd all be built into your device. But that would be brilliant. I want to be hanging a iPad Pro on the wall of my house and be able to display pictures on it.
You can buy them without it being an iPad Pro.
Yeah, but I wouldn't want to.
I had one, got it as a wedding present and never used it.
I've got a digital picture frame over there.
That's weird.
What a load of junk. I don't want that. I want an iPad Pro. My Apple Fire Stick, when I plug that into the TV, if I don't do anything like it for a little while, but it's still turned on, it puts a screensaver on. That one of the screensavers is just fish in a fish tank, so it makes TV look like a fish tank. That's awesome. But if it was an iPad, I'd buy an extra iPad just to stick on the wall.
And have that show you pictures of iPads.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be amazing. Apple TV, they've changed that as well.
What have they done with it? Because I heard this had been improved.
They've made it any good. So, because this hasn't been changed since it first came out years and years ago. And now, obviously, you've got Chromecast and Kindle Fire thing that works properly. So, they've made it so it works properly. The remote, similar to how it is on the Roku and on the Fire TV, is now basically a Wii remote. So you can wave it around to control games. It's motion sensitive. You can talk into it to do your Siri stuff. So they've actually made the remote work properly. Don't get too excited. That's all already in Fire TV and Roku and all the others. It's been in there for a few years. The important thing is they've promised to put console quality games onto it. The first one they've announced is the new Guitar Hero game that comes out this year, as well as coming out on Xbox One, PS4, blah, blah, blah. It's also coming out on Apple TV as an app. So you'll be able to have the full version of Guitar Hero on your Apple TV with your fancy guitars and your drums and everything. So straight away, people who've enjoyed a bit of Guitar Hero but don't want to go and get a proper games console can now just download it as an app, go and buy a guitar, and they've got their full game.
That's really cool. I'm quite impressed with that. They need to just buy a Nintendo.
It sounds like they don't really need to, because
they need Mario,
they've done everything. Do they need Mario? Does anyone need Mario anymore? But basically, it's if what they're saying about the new Apple TV is true, it's now just a better version of the Wii U, because your iPad will work as your remote thing, but it'll actually also work as an iPad as well. It's going to have better games on it than the Wii U does. So I think I'm just going to try and find a numbskull to try and say, get me a new Apple TV, I'll swap it for a Wii U. You're just giving me a Netflix box, but you get a full games console. Current gen, do a swapsy with me. And, so if you want to buy me an Apple TV, I'll give you a Wii U.
Nah, you're right. I might ask for one, though.
So I'm not going to give you one.
But no, that sounds really cool. When's that out?
What, Apple TV? Not sure. I don't know anything about any of this. There's also a new iPad mini coming out. I don't know what's new about that.
Smaller, I imagine.
I think it's the same size, just upgraded slightly. Because the iPad mini 3 didn't the only update between that and the 2 is that they put the fingerprint sensor on it. They didn't upgrade the innards.
Wow.
So I imagine it's got the innards of an iPad Air, maybe. Because they're always slightly lower spec than... Because the iPad Air 2 is still the top of the range iPad apart from the Pro. So I imagine the innards...
I don't know whether mine's a 1 or a 2. How old's a 2?
2 came out this time last year.
Doesn't help me, actually. I don't know when I got mine.
There's not a lot of difference between the two. I've got a 2. One of the sprockets has got the original iPad Air. There's no noticeable difference in them, really. I think the 2 is slightly thinner again, because they don't fit in the same cases, which is just annoying.
I think I've got a 2. I got it for my birthday last year, so it must be the new one, mustn't it?
No, because it would have been this time last year. If it was your birthday, which I believe is in August.
Yeah.
You did the thing that you've previously moaned about people doing on this very show. Oh, in fact, no, our previous podcast, you got the new one you got the old one just before the new one came out. So you paid full price for old tech, you crazy fool.
No, I don't know. I'll have to check. I don't know.
Have a look, turn it over. If it's got a number 2 scratched in the back, that means it's been vandalised. But yeah, lots of new Apple goodies. And I want to see you with a pink phone.
Probably mine. Is it just like the white one but pink, or like shaded, or is it bright pink?
It's got the white front, like all of the ones apart from mine have. Well, apart from anyone else who also has a space grey one. Mine isn't the only black-fronted iPhone in existence. But it's got the white bit around the front there, but the back, I think they've not called it pink, they've called it strawberry gold or raspberry gold or something. So it's just like a pinky hue on a shiny...
It's a classy pink though, yeah?
I would say classy rather than classy.
Yeah, I'll have a pink phone. And what harm of it?
I just want to see you with a pink phone. I want
to
giggle behind your back. That's because Space Grey is cool. I still think if you have the white face on an Apple device, you're a bit of a lady. And I'll stand by that.
No, definitely.
That's the ladies' colour.
That is the ladies' colour.
Anna always gets the white front. I've always had black fronts on my phone and my iPad. So that's the correct way to do it. Boys like black phones. Because we're cool.
I thought you were going to end on that statement, and I thought that was your passing shot.
Well, I haven't tried to sell stuff to anyone for an hour, so I can't end there. You know how this show works by now, surely.
What should I do this weekend that's as insane as buying a house?
Buy a car? Don't you need a car? You've got your driving test.
I'm hoping I'll acquire a car.
What do you mean you're going to steal a car?
No, I just have a feeling one will turn up.
Before we record the next episode of this, you'll have had your driving test. So
no, when it's the 22nd.
That's next week, isn't it? No, it's a week after. Yeah. 2 weeks' time.
Scary, it's 11 days.
In 2 weeks' time, you're going to need a car so that you can cry about the fact you failed driving test. It won't sting as much if you haven't bought a car. Buy a car now, and then when you fail, it'll really sting.
I don't know whether I will. I can't think like.
Can I suggest what you do is you just turn up at a car dealer and say, "How does this car lark work then?" And they'll probably end up giving you a free phone. You'll come away with another bill for Kirsty to pay after you die on the operating table.
Nah.
I am a little alarmed that you don't have life insurance in place to pay for me to hire a new co-host.
I assumed it was all paid by iTunes.
Well, I'm not so sure. I don't think we've spent enough time plugging their new tech yet, so I don't know if they're going to honour the contract. And if you do cark it, am I going to have to do all this by myself every week?
Should be alright. Call it the Kev Monologues. It's
already called that. Do you ever look at it on iTunes?
No, to be fair.
Yeah, you know your microphone's not plugged in, don't you? You can see there's only one microphone in front of us.
Yeah, that's
and it's pointing at me.
It is slightly pointing at you.
You're just really there for me to bounce ideas off of. When Stuart gets us, he just edits out the mumbling from your side of the room, and it's just me putting the world to rights the way only I can.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just thinking, no. I'm thinking to myself, 11 days.
You just gave me the symbol for, I've got the signal for, I've got something important to say here. Pause for breath, Kev, I've got something to say.
11 days' time, I could be tearing up the roads around the area, or I could be driving.
Yeah. Worries me.
Does worry me a bit. I reckon I'll do it.
Luckily, we've only got to put up it for a week or two before you...
before I die.
Yeah, before you upgrade to the next level.
Do you reckon that's what'll happen?
No, I think you'll just start to rot.
Right in the ground, yeah.
Did you know you can follow us on Twitter at Kevin Steve, or you can follow me at Lelujo.
And I'm at RB6K.
You can also find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Kevin Steve, and we have a website, we'refromtheinternet.com. You there, if we've wet your whistle with all this talk of Apple goodies and you want to buy some from the best place to buy Apple goodies from, which everyone knows is we'refromtheinternet.com/Amazon, then you should head over to we'refromtheinternet.com/Amazon. And for every iPad you buy, we get sent a pencil. I think that's it.
We get £7, won't we?
Does this mean if you sell ordinary pencils now, are you still allowed to call them the pencil?
Yeah, I thought that earlier, but I didn't want to kind of interrupt your flow. But I just thought that's opening up. I mean, if I've been selling pencils for the past 1,000 years, I'd say, well, hang on a minute, you can't call it that.
Have you also noticed the fact that all the stuff that is Apple, whatever it is lately, because nothing's anything anymore, it's all, that they never write the word Apple out. They've basically tried to create a new letter. So,
what, the picture of an apple?
Yeah, the picture of the apple. Yeah, but they create that, they're trying to put that into the alphabet. So now you can't put symbol pencil. You can't sell them anymore, but you could sell a pencil. So it's only trademarked when it has the picture of an apple in front of it. Not the word apple, it's a picture of an apple. So you can't type a picture of an apple and then the word pencil without getting sued.
Well, I guess it'd be quite hard to find the apple and the symbols on your...
What about if you were a novelty pencil manufacturer and for years you've been selling...
ones.
Yeah, exactly. Or green ones with pictures of apples on. In fact, I'm Googling it now. I'm going on Amazon to Google it, because that's the best place to Google things. No, I'm going on Amazon. I'm going to search for Apple Pencil. And there must be people out there now who have got their lawyers working on it. There you go, look. Apple pencils.
Oh, I went into my corner shop to buy some of those sweets yesterday. I didn't have any.
Right, let's look for you can get 25 Apple pencils for £2.80 on Amazon.
They're gonna make a fortune. We need to be starting to sell those sweets.
That's much cheaper than they had you believe at the press conference the other day.
Leave a review saying didn't work on my iPad at all.
Yeah, I can't believe it's not already got that on here. People are a bit slow to jump on this. They're just reviewing them as sweets. But yeah, I think I'm going to leave a review saying bought one of these to go with my new iPad Pro.
Just smashed the screen?
Yeah, it just got all sticky. Didn't work at all. Plugged it in to try and charge it back up again and it just melted. Luckily, there's another 24. I'm going to leave that review now. That's going to be my activity for the weekend because there's dozens of these on Amazon. It's chock full of Apple pencils.
Tubs of them.
Yeah, you can buy... What's this? Assorted pencils that include Apple pencils. It's a mix of strawberry, blue raspberry, and apple. So...
Is there a company called Strawberry?
I don't know.
Shall we start it and just start selling red laptops?
Apple-shaped pencil sharpener. Imagine how many times they're going to get sued. I tried to sharpen my Apple pencil in your Apple pencil sharpener, available from the internet.com Amazon. And it just, the sparks started to fly everywhere. Now it doesn't work on my iPad Pro anymore.
Would it spark much? It's plasticky.
Yeah, but it's got to charge it. You have to charge it up.
Yeah.
You buy an Apple Pencil for $99 and an Apple Pencil sharpener for £2.66 off of Amazon.
Eh?
Yeah, hand crank Apple Pencil sharpener.
That was what I was trying to buy. Happy Shopper Apple Pencils, 85 gram pack of 12, and didn't have any in stock. Couldn't believe it.
Well,
I've been craving it all
I suppose
day.
it's because people are going crazy for them because of all the publicity they've been getting lately.
I could have done with strawberry pencils. I didn't have them either.
Anyway, if you can't get enough of us looking at Apple pencils on Amazon, you need more from the internet, where we're going to spend 20 more minutes looking at sweets on Amazon, because that's how we roll. For the rest of you aren't cool enough to do that. See you next week, boys and girls.
Have a good week.